Good morning, everybody. Crafting Journey here, that Journey Chick on Instagram. It's Tuesday, and I'm not going to work. I'm waiting for the plumber. Yes. And if you are like me, if you're like right around my age, you remember the old Saturday Night Live butt crack plumber. Remember the refrigerator repairman, and he bends over, and there's the butt crack. That's what I think of now. That wasn't a plumber; it was a refrigerator repairman, but it's what comes into my mind. I know it's goofy, but it is what it is. Still working on Alice Lost. Um, I almost finished a section. I got like one more color, and then I went ahead and opened up the next section. I don't actually need these here today because I have already poured out the drills that I need in my little modular thing. I think I'm going to go ahead and order 3 more because I know, you're like, where am I going? I have 3 more containers. I'm going to see if I can match. Like, see if I can get a yellow one, a green one, maybe a red one. I don't know. We'll see what colors they have. Oh, my goodness. Okay, we got a full show today. Yes, we do. Let me just get my tray of drills ready. So, where do we start? So, at least when the plumber comes, I can start doing my laundry because, like, I'm down to wearing like my kids' shirt, which is like not my favorite thing in the wardrobe. But this is like the symbol of KU University. It's the Indian guy, Kansas. So it's a huge Wichita symbol. There's like, if you go downtown, there's like a big one of these, like this huge statue. It's not in these colors, it's bronze, but, and then if you go to the university, sometimes when I go for my psychiatry appointment, because I go to KU psychiatry, they have one of these out front, a statue that is this color. It's very cool. Um, No Lewis today. Lots of birds. We're expecting thunderstorms tonight. So, some of you remember, or you may remember, that I was telling you that my house was shaking. Like the entire house was shaking. And a couple of times it occurred, it was raining outside. So I just attributed it to thunderstorms. So, but one time the sun was shining. The last time I felt it, the sun was shining. I was sitting in my lounge chair and I looked because I thought, well, is that thunder? Yeah, but the sun is shining. So I thought, well, I guess it's possible. But then I went around the house thinking, well, maybe something, maybe my furnace exploded. I didn't know what it was. And then I thought, well, maybe the wind blew the trash can up against the house. I mean, I had all these theories. I walked outside. It was almost like someone had been blasting. Like if you've ever had somebody being, blasting near your house and the whole house shakes, it was like that. So then I start working yesterday, and my coworkers were saying we had earthquakes. So I watched the news. 8 earthquakes yesterday and the day before. That's what it was. It was a freaking earthquake. 3 point something on the Richter scale, one of them, which was probably that last one that I felt because, man, this house just shook. No damage, nothing, although after one of them, I went into the laundry room and there was stuff that had fallen off the shelves, some light boxes and stuff. And I thought, what is going on? How did that happen? Well, now I know I had an earthquake. So now they're saying, are we going to have a more powerful one? Is that just leading up to a more powerful earthquake? No one knows. But this poor old house, I don't think it can take it. But I'm glad that I'm not crazy and that I have an explanation. So, and then if you were following my work saga, yes, I figured out what I was doing. It wasn't that I was doing anything wrong with the Google Sheet. It was that I was using the wrong data source. Who knew? Um, so the girl that's working with me, she showed me which one was the correct data source. And once I started using the correct data source, all was well. So, but yesterday was a difficult day because, I'm still not feeling well. I just have those headaches. Um, when I wake up in the morning from the alarm clock warning, I love that song, and I, I'm fine. I feel great. Right now I feel terrific. I'm having my decaf coffee. Um, Narita's sending me some tea to try out, and I'll let you know how that is tomorrow. I'm anxious to see if I like it, just so that I have some alternatives. But then by 10 or 11 o'clock, I start getting headachy, and I'm fine when I'm laying down, but when I'm sitting up, you know, to the point of migraine. Yesterday, I was almost nauseous, so I'm assuming it's still the caffeine withdrawal. I don't know, but I'm talking to my friend at work, and I'm telling her about my, caffeine woes and how I have this refrigerator with A&W root beer and diet A&W root beer and diet Dr Pepper because I love those things, and how I can't drink them now because they have caffeine. She's like, "Oh no, diet A&W doesn't have caffeine." I'm like, "What?" I paused her. I said, "Wait a minute, I'll be right back." I run to the because she was on my we were Zoom meeting. So I run to the refrigerator. I look, and it right at the top of the label it says no caffeine. Well, I didn't care that she was waiting for me. I get a glass. I put some ice in it. I get me some A&W. Oh my God, it was like heaven. It was so good because I'm tired of water. Anyway, I'm learning alternatives to not having caffeine. Anyway, um, so in and out of bed yesterday with the headache. But so I would rest for a little while and then get up and do some work, rest for a little while. But my house is a mess and I need to get this laundry done. So the late start today because I slept in. The plumber should be here in like an hour, and then I can get the laundry started. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy day. Busy day. And I started a new hat. I started another slouchy beanie like the one I had on yesterday. Different pattern, but it'll look very similar, just a different pattern. And it's purple. So, because one of my friends asked me for purple, if I would make her a purple slouchy beanie hat. So I said yes. Now, which one was this? This was why. Why? Because I love you. So I popped into a bunch of lives last night. I haven't done that on a Monday night in a while. Um, Said hi to everybody. It was nice. Diamond Queen, Crystal, Mystria, Shine Like a Diamond Beth. I haven't talked to everybody in a while. Monday nights are usually my night to, take off from YouTube, but I thought let me see what the gals are up to. And so that's what I did. Well, I'm painting away here. Anyway, let's talk about what National Day it is. This is National Everything You Do is Right Day. So everything you do today is right. Don't worry that it turned out wrong. It's right. Just change your mindset. Everything you do is right today. I'm going to do the laundry. That's the right thing to do. I'm going to perhaps run the vacuum. That's right. Um, just change your mindset that no matter what, everything today is going to be right. Not wrong, right. Like my spreadsheet, it's going to go right today. Yes, I'm going to sit down and nothing is going to go wrong. Everything is going to be right today. Yeah. Just change your mindset. So it's time for Judge, Jury, and Journey. So, George Floyd case. Yesterday, the defense filed a motion to change venue. And the reasoning was that the $27 million settlement from the city to the family just there's not anybody probably that didn't hear about it, and would affect every juror some kind of way. And I don't disagree, and I don't think the prosecution disagreed. However, changing the venue is not going to solve that problem. Now, he offered several suggestions. One, change the venue. Two, Judge, if you're not going to change the venue, how about sequestering these jurors right now? I'm surprised that they're not doing that. And the judge has not ruled, on the motion. I don't know how feasible it is to sequester these people. So what the judge said is, at the time this motion was filed, they already had 7 jurors. So he said, I'm going to bring those 7 jurors back, and I'm going to question them regarding the settlement. And going forward, he's questioning the jurors regarding the settlement. I listened to one juror, and she said, yes, I heard about the settlement, and it just, it makes me think that the city just didn't think they could win their case. And I thought, oh, that's not good. So she was excused. Goodbye. So now he's going to have to bring the 7 that they've already picked back and ask them, have you heard about this settlement? Will it influence your, blah, blah, blah. But first of all, the change of venue, there's not anywhere you could go where people haven't heard about this. I mean, you'd have to go to like, bum whatever, Egypt. Maybe they haven't heard about it there, but nowhere in this country, that's for sure. So let's see. Okay, so the judge is planning to re-question the jurors. So far we have 9 jurors. Yesterday they picked a black man who said he does believe in Black Lives Matters. He does support that. And one of his comments was he just didn't understand why the other 3 police officers didn't jump in to help George Floyd. Good question. Good question. Anyway, I think as a prosecutor, that might worry me, but he didn't use his challenge. He's on the jury. So, and then the next one was a white single female healthcare worker. And when they asked her, had she seen the video, she said, I saw parts of it. I couldn't watch the whole thing. It was too disturbing. Interesting. So far we've got 6 men, 3 women. 5 of the jurors are white. 2 of the jurors are black. 1 is Hispanic and 1 is mixed race. So I think a pretty good demographics, of the jurors, pretty cross demographics of the jurors so far. But gosh, if I was a judge, I would really think long and hard about sequestering these jurors. I really would. I mean, how are they going to go through? Are they not going to watch television or ever go on their computers for however long this trial takes? That would be ridiculous. If they were at home, I just don't know. Do we have any more of this? We do. Okay. So let's talk about the Teresa Seaver's trial. So yesterday I listened to, they put on three different women. Two were friends of Teresa Seaver's. One was sort of a colleague friend that was very good friends with the family. And the other one was, they grew up together kind of friend. And they both had interactions with Mark Seaver's. As soon as they heard about her death, they both, you know, came for the funeral. They, immediately got on planes and got to, they were in their hotels. And then, Mark comes to see them, and Mark is talking to them. And um, his concern was not about, like, he was more concerned that his best friend was being falsely accused of his wife's murder. Um, it just, they testified about his affect. At one point he was um, telling the one lady, I guess they had set up ahead of time that she would, if anything ever happened to him and her, that she would be the guardian. And he was saying, if they, why did that door just open by itself? That's weird. It's the gnomes. Hold on, let me close it. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was weird. It just opened by itself. You guys witnessed it. Maybe. So where was I? Oh, so they had set up that she would be the guardian if anything ever happened to them. So Mark is telling her, if for some chance I have to go away, if they're going to accuse me of this, and I have to go away, will you take care of the girls? There's plenty of life insurance. And she thought, what a weird way. Your wife just died, and you're worried about going away, or something happening to you, and the life insurance. And I don't know. Neither woman thought that his affect was appropriate. Then they put on, we did get to hear from the neighbor. This is the nosy neighbor, yes, who is in front of all the television cameras to say what she knows about the case, which is nothing. she the prosecutor or the defense said, "Did you give an interview to Wink News, and did you give an interview to Fox?" And she's like, "Yes, And what was your information?" "Well, one time I saw him in my backyard." "Well, when was that?" "Well, I think it was earlier in the year." Like, she had no idea. She just wanted to be a part of this thing. It was hilarious. Um, so she was on and off the stand pretty quickly. Then they brought in the girlfriend of the third guy. Now, as you recall, Curtis Wainwright hired a third guy to help him. There were two guys that physically did the murder. Curtis Wainwright and this other guy, Jerry, I think is Jerry. Anyway, so they brought in Jerry's girlfriend, and uh, she was describing how when he got back from Florida, he had brought her this gift. Oh, now Tootsie's out there. Good God. What? Come on in. For God's sakes. I forgot she was out there. So she's playing with the gnomes in the morning. So he takes her on a drive, and he says he had come back with a black backpack and a cooler. She said inside the cooler was gloves, a shoe, and a hammer. and this, and then the backpack had the overalls, the coveralls in it. So he takes her for a drive, and he tells her, throw these things out the window. So she has no idea why she's doing this. Throws it out the window, and that's how she's later on able to direct the cops to where this stuff was. So weird. um, she was not a very impressive witness. Yeah. And I suspect she is probably the person that ratted him out. I think she is probably the anonymous caller that tipped them off that this was Curtis Wainwright that did this, and I don't know. So then they put on the medical examiner, who proceeds to describe the body and the injuries. And I think if I was a juror, I'd be, can I opt out of this portion? I don't want to see these pictures. It doesn't make any difference to me. We know that these two guys killed her. I don't want to see the pictures. I really don't. But they're like, show them to the jury. I'm like, oh, tell them what they're looking at. No. Pass. Hard pass. What is that going to add? I mean, we already know that she died from, he testified that the manner of death, what is it? Cause of death, manner of death. I forget which one is which. The manner of death was homicide. The cause was blunt trauma to the head. 1 second. Okay, the plumber called. He's on the way. All right, where was I? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the medical examiner. Yes, he blunt trauma to the head. That's the cause of death. Okay, we knew that. He could not distinguish whether there was one hammer or two, and he said it did look like the claw part of the hammer had been used. He could not rule out a ball peen hammer, which was when the girlfriend of Jerry got on the stand. The hammer that she saw in the cooler or the backpack was a ball peen hammer. So I don't know. I don't know. But, she had bruises all over her body, so clearly she fought till she couldn't fight anymore. Really incredible testimony. Incredible testimony. Anywho, the prosecution rested. So today I'm going to listen to the defense's motion for acquittal. So anytime the prosecution ends their case, the first thing the defense will do is a motion for acquittal. Whether they think they have a shot or not, they will do it. Just on the off chance the judge is going to say, yeah, you're right, they didn't prove their case. Well, but I want to hear what they have to say, because Mark Seaver's lawyer is very interesting. Oh, and I finally figured out he was a nurse. Mark Seavers was a nurse before he married Dr. Seavers. Apparently when he was talking to one of the good friends of Teresa Seavers, he was saying, oh, maybe I can, what am I going to do? Because he worked at her office. He says, maybe I can go back to being a nurse. I don't know. Anyway. So, yeah, that's where we're at. So I'm going to listen to that motion. I will listen to closing arguments. I will describe those for you tomorrow, and then I'm going to set up a poll about whether you guys think Mark Seavers is guilty of conspiracy to commit murder or not guilty. Yeah. Okay, so this day in history. Let's talk about this day in history. Let me pull it up. I'm so happy the plumber is coming. Maybe he'll be super cute because we know how much money plumbers make. He's probably some young guy, right? Some young guy. Yes, I'll have 2 of those with some crab rangoon. Um, where did that come from? I don't know. I'm being silly. Okay. What am I looking for? Oh, the Scarlet Letter is published. This was in 1850. Nathaniel Hawthorne was a writer. He was born and raised in Salem, Massachusetts. This is 100 years after the witch trials, but it still heavily influenced his writing. He went to Bowdoin College in Brunswick, Maine, and then went back to Salem and started writing. He got married, started writing. He wrote a book called Fanshawe, Twice Told Tales, The Blithedale Romance. But it was the Scarlet Letter that made him very, very famous. This was a huge hit. One of these authors that actually gets famous and makes a lot of money during his lifetime, Nathaniel Hawthorne. This was a book, and there's been all kinds of iterations of this, plays, movies. I think Demi Moore played in one of the movies of this book. And this woman in Salem, Massachusetts, she comes up pregnant. Now her husband, she was married, but her husband was lost at sea, never to be seen again. So all of a sudden she's pregnant, and everybody's trying to figure out who is it, who's the father, who's the father. So obviously, she had an affair, nobody knows who the father is. She never tells who the father is. As the book progresses, you learn who the father is. You learn that her husband's not dead. He comes back. He takes another name, but she's sworn to secrecy that she can never say that he's back. And she won't tell him who the father is. It's quite the book. Anyway, they make her part of her punishment is that wherever she goes, she has to wear this scarlet, red letter A. How horrible is that? Yeah. So that book was published this day in history in 1850, March 16th, 1850. So guys, it's Tuesday. The plumber's coming. Have you ever seen anybody so excited to see a freaking plumber? I should have told him bring donuts. Bring donuts. No, that's not appropriate. Have a great Tuesday. Nothing going on except laundry today. So I will see you guys in tomorrow's morning show where, the saga continues. Everybody take care. I love you all. Bye.